Seeing as this is the James Bond principle, I thought we'd cover the quintessential James Bond cocktail, the martini. The martini cocktail is really, really old. The recipe has been lost and found many times throughout history. Some hardcore bartending purists will say that it's got to have orange bitters in it, or at one point it had passion fruit bitters and that's the best version of the martini. But we're not interested in that. We're not experts. So I'm going to teach you the basics of martinis. What we do know is that a martini is made up of either gin or vodka and dry vermouth. That's the basic build. James Bond orders a vodka martini, but I don't really know what I'm doing with vodka. It's really hard for me to pull the differences between a good vodka and a really good vodka. And the only difference for me between a bad and a good one is that a bad one tastes like poison and a good one is okay. So I typically use gin. So the gin I use varies on what I've got in the cupboard. Right now I've got a Hayman's Old Tom. It's slightly spicier than a regular London Dry, but you don't need to know that. You just need to know it's a gin. The next ingredient is a dry vermouth. I've gone with Dolan Dry because I watched a video of Stanley Tucci teaching me how to make a Negroni, and he said don't go near the martini stuff.
You don't want to use like Martini. You know that brand, Martini.
He recommended Dolan, and I will do anything Stanley Tucci tells me because he's a legend.
See, even that is turning me on. Oh yeah.
So I've got some Dolan Dry Vermouth. So when ordering a martini, you often hear the phrase, I'll have a dry martini. Now it doesn't actually refer to dry vermouth. All martinis come with dry vermouth. So a dry martini actually refers to the amount of vermouth in the drink. So if you want a dry martini, you actually want less vermouth. The other modifier is dirty. Dirty refers to the use of olive brine. Here I have some Pam's Spanish stuffed olives. The basic build for a martini is 2 ounces or 60 milliliters of gin or vodka and 1 ounce 30 milliliters of dry vermouth served in a martini glass. Now this one is warm. You never serve a martini in a warm martini glass. You serve it in a frosty cold one. My other one is in the freezer right now, cooling off for when we actually make this drink. Now, with those modifiers, a dry martini, which has less vermouth, means that you get 2 ounces or 60 milliliters of gin or vodka and half an ounce or 15 milliliters of your dry vermouth. You don't get more vodka or gin because you got less vermouth. You just have less drink. A dirty martini is 2 ounces, 60 mils of your gin or vodka, and then it's half an ounce, 15 mils of vermouth, and then the same quantity for your olive brine. Another phrase you might hear when you're ordering a drink is up or down. This refers to the glass you use. Up is in this, down is in a rocks glass. So when you ask for a cocktail up, it doesn't mean shaken up, it means served in a martini glass. That's it. The shaken not stirred bit, that's personal preference and totally doesn't matter. In fact, if you go into a bar and ask for a vodka martini shaken not stirred, the bartender will go, aha, you don't know what you're doing. I'll be making a dirty gin martini so I can combine all these elements and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to start with my shaker. I'm going to build it in here and then serve it in an icy cold martini glass. I've also got with me a shot pourer, a 2 ounce, 1 ounce pour. I'll use this for the gin. And then I've got a 1 ounce, half ounce pour. So we're doing a dirty martini with half ounce of vermouth, half ounce of olive brine. Doesn't really matter the order in which you build the drink, just go for it. So we're going to go for 2 ounces of gin. Which looks like that. Simple really. And we've got our dry vermouth. I'm going to go for half an ounce of that. Take it easy on this, it can get away on you. Oh, yeah, spilt some. Oops. Not the end of the world. Now with the olive brine, if you're smart about it, you would have put the brine in a separate bottle or a separate pourer. But I'm not going to do that because I want to show you how not to do it, I guess. Hopefully it's not too messy. I'm just going to pour it out of that into here. I'm just going to take it nice and easy. don't. Sweet. Crushed it. Nailed it. Perfect. Sweet. So that's all there is really. 2 ounces of gin, ½ ounce of dry vermouth, ½ ounce of olive brine. I'm just going to grab some ice and ice this down. So now we've got ice in here. At the freezer I also picked up my smoky cold martini glass, as my mate Jimmy Curio would say. I said it didn't really matter if you stirred or shaked your martini, but we've got olive brine in here and I really want it to mix in super well, and you just don't quite get the same as you stir. If you're using just vodka and vermouth or gin and vermouth, stirring is going to be fine, but because we've got olive brine, we're going to shake it up. When it comes to shaking, there's no right way or wrong way to do it. Just make sure that you're holding on to both ends so it doesn't burst open and spill everywhere. That's just a waste. And just shake the crap out of it. It's also a good opportunity to try and look cool, so give that a crack. Sweet, so that's nice and cold. I'm just going to pour it into our smoky cold martini glass. Perfect. That's looking really good. But we're not quite done yet. Time to garnish. Now, we're doing a dirty martini, so we need to garnish it with olives. If we were doing a regular martini with just gin and vermouth or vodka and vermouth, we'd want a twist of lemon, but it's a dirty martini, so we want an olive. Option 1 is we can just float an olive, but the problem with it is that they don't float, they just sink to the bottom, which works, looks alright. It does look a little bit waiter, there's something in my drink, but you know, you can serve it like that. Rather than floating an olive, or rather sinking an olive into your martini, you can use a skewer. Today I'll be using a miniature sword that I got from a riverboat in New Orleans. And you can take 3 olives, skewer them like that, and just sit them in your drink. Looks a little bit fancier than having something just drowned at the bottom of your drink. And that's the dirty martini. Time for the all-important taste test. Oh, it smells good. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's great. Like, not super olive brine heavy, but it adds that typical, like, I feel like I'm drinking fancy, which is ideal for what we're looking for here. And that's the martini. Super easy, pretty yummy. You look flash ordering it, you look flash making it, you look flash drinking it. Well, you'll look flash doing those things. I look like I've stolen someone else's drink, but I can't really help that. But that's pretty much all you need to know. Now I get to drink it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks for joining me today on the James Bond Principle. Hopefully you learned something. If you'd like to learn something else, you can check out our previous videos. If I haven't taught something that you're interested in learning, please let me know in the comments below. I'll try and get to them. And if you're interested in keeping tabs on the future content, please consider subscribing. We'll see you next time.